of the night, flight delay yesterday, getting in so late here. Just how meaningful is this performance here tonight?
Yeah, tremendous. I think we've talked about just how resilient these guys are, and tonight was one of those instances again. Great job all around, and coming back tonight and getting game one is obviously a big momentum shift for us, and a lot of work to do yet, but the job that Bryce Miller did tonight was phenomenal. Coming back, on short rest, and getting behind early there with the first pitch of the game, getting a little bit of traffic, even in the first inning. The at bat by Lukes was outstanding to put a lot of pitches on him, and I thought after that first inning, there was just he went into a different gear, and you saw him getting ahead, using all his stuff. The fastball kept coming out really good, and it was one of those situations where you knew the bullpen was ready to bail him out at any time, but it just kept coming out, and he kept throwing the ball so well, and to give us 6 strong innings, especially coming out of that first inning, and the ability that he had tonight to kind of close the door was phenomenal, and then the bullpen took it from there. Just a unbelievable job on the mound for us tonight, and then you look at offensively, Polo again, 2 huge knocks. To give us, the runs there to tie it and put us ahead, or actually to put us ahead, and Cal's homer to tie it, was a big step too. So just some great at bats up and down. We had a little bit of traffic, not able to do it a bunch tonight, but I tell you, our guys put up some good at bats, and this was just a good win up and down, and as you said, after. Coming back after that long one and a travel day yesterday, it feels good to get game one.
We'll stay there with Daniel.
Dan, knowing that he was on short rest for the first time in his career and everything that he's dealt with this season with the bone spurs and everything, what was a best case scenario for him? Was it 2 times through? And if so, what gave you the conviction to stick with him?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's postseason, and you have the ability to kind of see and assess as you go, and again, I think the hope was to get through 4, and then we could start working in the bullpen and getting those guys in there, and holding a lead if we had it, whatever. But again, like I said, the way it kept coming out of his hand, the way he just kept going out there and throwing up zeros was huge, and it was evident that he wasn't wanting to come out of that one, and you didn't want him to come out of the game because he was just attacking, and it was awesome.
Adam?
Just how close were you maybe there in the first inning to getting the bullpen going there?
I mean, you have to. That could have exploded pretty quickly, and again, I give Cal and Bryce a lot of credit. Cal, I thought, made a good visit and kind of calmed them down, and then able to kind of work that game plan and get out of that. And the two of them, from there really took it, and it was outstanding from there on.
The 4th row on your left.
Dan, just how important, I mean, Cal's done that all season in terms of the homer, but, you go 5 innings without a hit, without a base runner, to be able to kind of give you that jolt, and then obviously you add on from there, but how important was just that first spark?
Yeah, huge. And I think, coming with 2 outs, I think was big, and just kind of getting out there and hooking that ball. We've seen Cal do that so often, and big situation there to get us back tied. I thought that was a big lift in terms of our dugout and getting us back in it. And again, Bryce going back out there and shutting down that inning and giving us a chance again to come back on offense. And then from there it was Polo a couple of times to give us the 2-run lead. And Gabe just doing what he does, Matty doing what he does, and then Mooney doing the same.
Ryan?
Dan, Polo's got 6 hits in the postseason, 5 have driven in runs. I mean, what are you seeing in his at-bats with runners in scoring position? Because it's been a grind for you guys most of the season.
Yeah, just seeing what he's been able to do from both sides has been, just outstanding. You look at the at-bats, the 2 homers against Skubal, the right-handed, at-bat tonight again to drive in the go-ahead run. We saw it, the left-handed at-bat tonight to give us another little insurance run, the left-handed at-bats, especially at home in the 15th there. But all of his at-bats, he's coming up in situations where, he's got a chance to do some damage, and not trying to do too much, and has put together just some huge RBIs for us.
Up front on your right, Dan.
I don't want to take away from the clutch hits and the incredible defense on really, like there were 4 or 5 really great plays. But again, with Miller in the 27 pitches, a home run, a couple of walks in the first inning, was anything said to him? Because again, you talked about he maybe found something, but he had less than 27 pitches in the next 3 innings. So did a pitching coach, did Cal say anything?
I mean, I think, he went back out there. I think they were able to get one more hit, I think, there in that second inning, but pitched out of that runner at second jam. I think that gave him a lot of confidence, and from there, he just continued to throw his stuff. I thought his fastball was good, and his secondaries were landing. Again, I don't know if it was anything that was said other than just, him gaining the confidence to roll from there, and that's what he did.
And again, with short rest, that's the case tomorrow with Castillo too. How much, was the work on Friday really come into play for tomorrow? Is that kind of a normal routine for a pitcher?
I think he didn't have to throw in the game on Friday, so that was big. But I think he coming back after the Detroit outing and only throwing just over 50 pitches in that, I think may have been a help tonight to where he was still pretty fresh. But still, as we've talked about, starters are very into their routines, and they have such solid routines between starts. And when that gets disrupted, you don't know how it's going to go. And for Bryce, it was outstanding tonight.
We'll do a couple last quick ones because Bryce is here. Go ahead, Adam.
Is it Logan tomorrow?
Logan Gilbert will be on the mound tomorrow for us. Yeah.
And we'll
And
finish.
what went into that decision? Sorry.
Again, just seeing how he feels, and I think the outing the other night in the 15-inning game was really a good side day for him, and he, the way we're looking at it is he took a side session in the game with 40 plus thousand people there. He's ready to go. He's excited. He wants the ball, and so it'll be Logan tomorrow.
We'll finish with Daniel.
Dan, in the first inning, the contact play with Cal running at the plate, just what went into that, and did you think at all about challenging there? Because it looked like his heel might have gotten in there.
Well, we did hold up and thought about challenging, but it didn't seem like there was too much there to go on. But that's a tough play. The runner at third's looking for a ball on the ground to stay out of the double play, and they executed it well. It was actually pretty close, almost closer than we thought. Fortunately, we're able to kind of, come back around, get some more runs after that. But again, this is a game of emotion. This is a game of momentum, and tonight we were able to get that back and due in large part to what Bryce was able to do on the mound.
All right, Dan, thank you. And we'll bring your winning pitcher up here. Appreciate it. All right, Bryce, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. We'll start with Ryan in the second row on your left.
Bryce, you'd never started a game on short rest, and Springer, which I'm sure you've seen before, hits the homer on the first pitch of the game. What was going through your mind as that first inning was starting to unfold?
First off, we've always talked about, like, sometimes maybe you should just skip your bullpen and pitch on 4 days, and that's what we did this week. And so, going into it, I felt good. Fortunately, I threw 55 pitches, I think, in Detroit, and so I still felt fresh, and coming off of a 15-inning game in Seattle 2 nights ago, I wanted to get deep and give our bullpen a chance, and I was able to do that. And then, first pitch home run, definitely not ideal, especially on the road. We also joke pretty often that first pitch home run doesn't count, so we're going with that. It doesn't count. But, no, it was after that, we had a long at-bat, 12-pitch at-bat, ended up in a walk, and made a lot of good pitches at at-bat. And, the first inning went pretty long, but I felt like I made some good pitches that inning and had some stuff to build off of moving forward, and was able to settle down afterwards.
We'll stay there with Daniel.
Bryce, Dan said that the plan in a best case was to get you through 4 innings. How much of that was communicated to you before the game, and how much did you appreciate the opportunity to pitch even deeper than that?
Yeah, they didn't tell me anything, any plan. So I was going out there, just letting it rip till they came out and got me. So, yeah, after came in and looked and had 27 pitches in the first, I was like, we're gonna have to figure it out here. So, and then yeah, after that it was like 6 pitches, 8 pitches, a lot of short innings, and felt like I was rolling after that. So everything felt really good, really fresh. Was getting ahead, attacking, and it's a recipe for success.
Adam?
You've seen it up close with Cal all year, but he gets that home run. Just what does it do for you and obviously the rest of the dugout there?
Yeah, he's hit a few of them this year, and it's oftentimes a spark for our offense and for our team. And yeah, I mean, at this point, it's anytime he's at the plate, it's you think there's a chance that he might send one, and that's really with the whole lineup. We have a lot of confidence in 1 through 9 every day, no matter who it is. And yeah, after I gave up the leadoff home run, I just the plan was to continue to attack and keep them there. That's all they get, and I knew we'd come around and put some runs on the board.
Ryan?
Given everything you've been through this year, not feeling great, dealing with the elbow, all this stuff, how gratifying is this performance? I mean, your fastball had a higher average than any of your starts this year. I mean, like, how gratifying is all this?
Yeah, it feels great. The year personally didn't go how I had planned and how I had hoped for, but we're in the ALCS, and I got to go out there and set the tone, and I felt great. So arm, body, mentally, everything feels really good right now. So I couldn't ask for anything more.
The 4th row on your left.
Right here. Bryce, we saw you a couple hours before the game kind of sitting by yourself against the center field fence. Seemed like, I don't know, maybe visualizing. You might have talked about this before, but what is that process? What were you doing there? Is it a visualization or what goes into that kind of prep before the game?
Yeah, I just kind of I like to, especially I've never pitched here. I've been here a few times, and I never threw here. So, going into it, I knew this was, the biggest start of my career so far, and just wanted to get out there and mentally kind of get in the zone and visualize, having success on the mound. That's something that Byrne, our mental skills guy, walks us through, and just visualizing certain pitches, with runners on in the stretch, and seeing yourself, kind of from a third-person view of, having success, and that way, whenever you're in the moment, it feels like you've already been there. And so I try to do that, and yeah, just kind of settle down. There's been a lot of excitement and I guess nerves coming into today, and coming off of the long game in Seattle 2 nights ago. So yeah, just kind of take a moment for myself.
Do a couple last ones, Ryan.
Yeah, the Cal came out in the first inning. It was a pretty lengthy conversation. What did he say? Was it a one-sided conversation, or was a discussion back and forth?
I don't know. I don't even remember that conversation. I don't know. That was after we had first and second?
Yeah, first and second.
I don't know. That was a hectic inning. I don't know. He usually doesn't have much to say, but it's more of he comes out. He sometimes he thinks he has jokes, and I give him a courtesy laugh, a little chuckle, and settle back down and keep going. But no, he's always really good with timing, when to come out and when he knows that we need to slow down and get us back in the zone. And that's what I don't remember the convo at all, but I'm sure that's how it went.
It also looked like you went kitchen sink after the first inning. You tried everything. I think 7 different pitches. I mean, was that part of the plan to try and get you back in it?
I mean, the last few weeks, it's kind of been something I've been focusing on. Is just as the year's gone on, and on and off the IL, I kind of got away from throwing off speed in zone and attacking with those pitches, and it makes things a whole lot easier whenever I'm not just fastball splitter. And that's the last few weeks we've been trying to get back to that, and whenever I can do that, it makes things a lot easier. And yeah, so not necessarily just today, but it's been a work in progress.
All right, congrats on this tremendous game, Bryce. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll bring your catcher up here. All right, we'll get started with Cal. We'll start with Daniel, third row on your left, Cal.
Cal, do you remember what you said during the mound visit in the first inning that Bryce was just talking about?
No, I mean, obviously Springer hit the home run, and Luke's had that really long at bat, which was it was a tough one. So, and I thought Bryce made some good pitches, and obviously lost the at bat. So, kind of tough way to start the game, and then I just thought he was being a little picky there. After that, and just told him to trust his stuff, and he was able to get out of it, which was huge on without putting up a crooked number. And after that, it was for the most part pretty good. Like I said, he was mixing and locating really well, and you just trust in your stuff. They're a really good ball club, and they're really good with bat to ball. So just trusting, trying to get ground balls, pop flies, and not trying to go out there and strike everybody out. So.
Standing on your far left, Ken.
Cal, the home run with Gossman, what were you thinking? Did you have to make an adjustment because he was going split heavy?
Yeah, the second at bat, he went all splits, but he's really tough. He's one of the best pitchers in the game. Obviously, he's got two elite, really good pitches with the heater and the splitter. They both play really well off each other. I just choked up and wasn't trying to do too much. I was trying to get bat on ball and really just trying to put something in play because maybe find a hole and didn't want to punch out again. So, and I was just able to put good wood on it. So, he's a really tough pitcher.
Fourth row on your left, Tyler.
Cal, Bryce was so good last year, and it was a tough year this year with injuries and whatnot. What was he doing tonight that maybe wasn't there earlier this season and was in the past?
Yeah, I think he did a good job of just using all his pitches, and locating them, really. I think that's the biggest thing. He was able to, use his whole arsenal and use different locations, and I think that was the big difference today. Obviously, just being competitive in the zone and, with all of them. And, he wasn't predictable. I think that was the best part. He was able to keep them off balance. And it's a really tough team, really good hitters over there. So, they're good at making adjustments. They're good at game planning. And, it just you have to go out there and you have to execute this time of year.
We'll stay in the same row, Cal.
Cal right here. You come off of a 15-inning game and you fly across the country, flight delay, and pitching staff is spent, all that kind of stuff, like all those circumstances. You overcome all of that as a team. You've been doing that all season, but I'm curious what you kind of saw in the mentality, the attitude of the group, what the talking points were in terms of just shaking off everything around the game and doing what you did tonight.
Yeah, I mean, obviously enjoyed it. Friday night and Saturday we had the travel day, so everybody was loose. We were just hanging out and enjoying it, and we knew we had our hands full today. Just come out and try to keep executing, and really give Bryce credit. Going on short rest and going 6 innings like that, it was really huge, especially for our bullpen who threw a lot of pitches the other day, and the guys came in, Gabe, Brash, and Mooney, and they were really good as well. They were sharp and crisp, and give them credit with all that happened over the last couple of days.
One row ahead, Daniel.
Cal, how much did you hear the boos for you when you were announced pregame, and even in your at bats when you were going up? How much did that maybe add any motivation, and what's the experience like silencing a sellout crowd after that big homer?
Yeah, I mean, we know the fans here. They're a really good fan base, and we've been here before, and they show up really well. It's a hostile environment, so we all knew it was going to be coming today, and everybody was going to be getting that kind of treatment, and that's what it's like in playoff baseball. So, like I said, you tune that stuff out and you try to go out there and execute and slow the game down just like you do, at home as well.
Up front on your right, Cal.
Cal, they don't boo nobodies. It's a sign of respect for what you've done in the regular season here and in now 2 playoff series. What is it about hitting here at the Rogers Center? You seem to excel.
I don't know if it's one thing. I think, really I try to go up there the same plan, and sometimes it's more coincidence than anything with it being here, and like I said, they're a really good staff over there. So they're tough. Their pitchers are really good ball club, and to me, just trying to go out there and execute. And we know that every pitch is important this time of year. So I think everybody's got that little extra fuel. Coming here and anywhere really in the playoffs, it's just that much more fun.
Go to the second row up front.
Hey, Cal. I'm just curious, for your perspective as a catcher, sort of working with the pitching staff, what makes this Blue Jays lineup so challenging? And obviously, you guys were able to silence them today.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you look at the middle of their order, they got some big thumpers, but I think obviously everybody also knows is, the contact they put up, they don't punch out a lot. So it makes it really tough. They put a lot of pressure on the defense and a lot of pressure on the pitchers. And, it's just knowing that, understanding, you got to execute pitches, to these guys, especially that top of that order, because they kind of get that thing rolling. And, those guys are good at, like I said, making contact, driving in runs, moving runners. So it's really important to try to get that top of the order out and, try to stay consistent with that. And like I said, it comes down to executing pitches, and our guys did a really good job of that today.
Do a couple last ones. Ryan on your left.
Kyle, as a switch hitter, you see Polo get turned. They turn him to the other side. Is that, does that really affect you in a game, like when they make you go to the other side? And what has he meant to you guys this year in terms of big hits and everything else?
Yeah, he's been unbelievable. It's been kind of the heart and soul, over this last month, and really happy for him. That he's healthy and he's playing every day, and it's consistent, and that does make a big difference because he went through a lot last year with injuries and even earlier this year. So I'm just happy he's healthy like that, and he's been huge from both sides of the plate. I mean, hitting 2 homers off Scooble, big hits today, adding insurance runs, like even the go-ahead one today. Those are huge hits, and even in the regular season down the stretch, he was coming up huge for us. So he's been a real threat in the middle of the order, protecting, me and Julio, and also, driving in runs like that. It's been so huge for us.
One last one for Cal. Anything else? All right, Cal, great game. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Logan Gilbert should be down in a few minutes. All right, Logan, thanks for coming in. We'll take a couple questions. We'll start with Daniel in the third row on your left.
Logan, what can you say about what Bryce did for you guys tonight, and also the ability to cover so many innings for a bullpen that was pretty taxed after Game 5?
Yeah, that's huge on short rest for sure. And I think he's peaking at the right time. His stuff looks great. Recently, he's pitched really well. And like you said, the team kind of needed it, especially playing that extra game. And they got a few days off there, so it kind of helped us out, set us kind of equal, I guess, after the rest.
Right.
Logan, when did they let you know you were going to start game 2, and you know, how much did, I don't know, I think it was 40 pitches you threw the other night. How much will that affect you?
We talked about it today, and they basically just asked me if I was good to go, and of course I said yeah right away, and they wanted me to see how I felt in catch play, if my arm felt normal, and it did. So it was kind of unusual circumstances a few days ago, but I don't know, treat it as a bullpen, or very high intense bullpen, and hopefully just be feeling good, ready to go.
Fourth row on your left.
Logan, you talk about how Bryce is peaking at the right time, and certainly the 2 playoff games we've seen that. But what do you see in how he's doing it that sort of reminded you of Bryce Miller at his best?
I think he's executing really well, and when he's at his best, he has feel for 5 or 6 pitches. That's what he was doing in the second half last year, the curveball, the splitter, under the zone, 2 fastballs, just a lot of things that not many people can do all that at the same time. And when he's at his best, he's being able to lean on 5 or 6 different pitches throughout the outing.
Good. Daniel?
Logan, knowing that you were probably going to pitch in Game 5, how did your routine adjust at all in between starts? Was there any tweaks that you made that'll have you ready for tomorrow at all?
Yeah, since I kind of figured I was coming out of the pen there, so the couple days leading up to that, after my start, I didn't throw a ton, and then the couple days after the bullpen, didn't throw a ton. So really, it's kind of been game, and back to game again. So I like to practice a lot and get my work in, but in the playoffs, you kind of just get ready for the game. So I've been toning down the practice throws a little bit.
Anything else for Logan? Tyler?
And sorry, just one more about Bryce. Did you see anything in his demeanor today before the game that made you know that he was going to be his best version?
He's pretty consistent with who he is and his personality. But I guess, yes, that kind of does play into it, that he's loose, he's confident, he knows who he is. Very unique personality, but he's not the type to get super fired up. I almost feel like that would be out of the ordinary for him. Like I said, he's at his best when he has all those pitches. He's also at his best when he's just really loose and relaxed and confident.
Let's go more. Ryan?
Logan, you've seen Cal do a lot of different things this year at the plate. As a pitcher, how demoralizing is it, though, that you make a pitch, you make one little mistake after retiring him twice, and he hits it a mile? I mean, how frustrating is that for a pitcher when he's able to do something like that?
Yeah, there's not many people like that, but you really can't make a mistake if you throw 15 or 20 pitches over the course of a game to a certain batter. He has the ability to change the game on any one pitch, so it's very tough to go 15 for 15 against anybody. And Cal can swing and miss a couple times, and then all of a sudden he changes the game on one swing. So it's really hard to face a player like that.
Bryce also said that he doesn't always hear what Cal is saying when they have the mound visits. Is that a lot of you guys do that, or how does that work?
He has weird mound visits. Sometimes he doesn't say anything. Or maybe I'm missing what he says, but he just kind of walks out there and stands there and looks at me. It's kind of awkward sometimes, but I think there's an intention there, trying to figure out what it is. But he knows what he's doing.
One last one for Logan. All right. Well, Logan,
thanks, guys.
great win for you guys. Appreciate your time. Thank you. That's